everyone, Jacqueline here. So today I'm going to share with you how we clean up those perennials that I purchased at Home Depot. They were in pretty bad shape and they needed a good home. So I'm hoping I can give them that. So I'm going to share with you the 4 steps to saving half dead and rejuvenating perennials that you buy on sale. So let's get started. So I have my wand and I'm just going to go through every single pot and soak it and let it run all the way through, because they have let them dry out. Now I was there a few weeks ago and they had a lot of these sitting on a shelf dying, and they weren't putting them on sale or anything. They're still trying to sell them at full price. I talked to the staff about it just to see what they were doing with them, and they said until the supplier gives them the approval at Home Depot to put these plants on sale, they cannot put them on sale. So obviously a few weeks later, when these are in really dire need of going in the ground and getting some love, they finally decided to reduce the price. So there was a lot more phlox originally. I'm sure they threw a bunch of them out. And then finally the supplier said, hey, let's get rid of these and try to make a little bit of money off them. So that's kind of what happened there. Can't say I'm not really impressed with that as a gardener. So you can see here in the wheelbarrow, there's a lot of water in there now. So now they can soak them up from the bottom. But if we want to do this, we did have so many plants, we didn't want to use a wheelbarrow. We could fill this pail up like this and then submerge the plant into it. So these good big ones are perfect for that. And then I like to water them from the top as well and let them absorb it. And you probably want to let them absorb the water for a good 15 or 20 minutes before you do anything else. That's the first tip. So the first tip is soak them thoroughly and let them absorb the water for 15 to 20 minutes. Because they have been starved big time. And you can tell if they've gotten enough water because of the weight of the pot. These ones are super heavy when they're full of water. Step number 2, prune your perennials back hard. We want to take all the dead foliage off. We want to clean all the garbage out, all the dead leaves and debris in the plant. So that's the next thing that we're going to do here. We're going to clean this baby up. And so I search here for the canes that were bloomed, that had blooms on them. I search for the canes that had buds on them, and we just get rid of them. And we start with those first, and we go all the way down. You can see it's already improving. We're not going to take it down to the ground because we need this foliage for a bit. But we will take these stockier stems out that are dead. And you see it already looks better. All right, that one is pretty much done. And this is the pink. Light pink salvia. So we're going to do the next one. Same thing. We're going to come in here and we're going to clean her back. And this one's got a lot of bent shoots on it. You can see a lot of busted foliage. This one's going to seem really harsh because it's in really bad shape. For the yarrow, all we have to do was get rid of the dead and any bent stems and take them off. There's not a lot to cleaning up yarrow. Yarrow is one of the toughest perennials there is, so we really don't have to do much to save it. There, that's totally cleaned up. That was a good buy at $3, and this is the deep red. Oriental poppies are really simple to clean. You just pull out the dead stems. This is a white oriental poppy, so these are a perennial poppy. These are good to -34. I find they're good even colder than that. In my zone 3, they're very reliable. Come back year after year, get bigger and bigger, and they're well worth the effort. And sometimes these stems are hard to cut with the pruners, so I just pull them out. The big thing is I need to be able to see some of the plant to plant it, so I know where it is in the garden. So I'll take everything off that's bent or broken, like that one, this one, and it will come back. So now I got enough there that I know that this plant, where it is and what it's going to do. And this one is called the white with the black eye, Royal Wedding. And you see the water dripping out of it? It definitely got a good drink. Now, yarrow oriental poppies don't need a lot of water, but these definitely needed some help. Now that these plants have had time to absorb water, they've had a harsh pruning. Some have been pruned harder than others you'll see here. Some have very little stems on them, but the root balls are good and they're totally cleaned up. We are going to feed them. So step number 3 is let's give them some nutrients. So I'm giving them a 230 concentrated fish liquid fertilizer, and I'm putting a capsule in the water. We want to give enough, but not too much. Isn't that yummy looking? Ooh, yum. And it smells wonderful. Blech. So let's add that to the water. I already filled my water jug. And then we'll give that a good mix. Yeah, that's one thing about fish fertilizer. Don't smell it. It's putrid. The reason these aren't getting the other fertilizer is we are in the front garden, so I'm in the front garden, I use fish fertilizer. If I'm in the back garden, I use the other fertilizer. I always keep one handy in both areas. Works great. So we're just going to shake the jug up. I'm still looking for my nozzle on the end of this. And just give it a little shake, and then we're just going to pour it in the pots. And then it can leak out onto the lawn. All right, that is all done, all fertilized. So you might say, what do we do next? Well, the fourth and final step when you rescue perennials is we plant them. So I'm going to let them absorb the nutrients overnight and not disturb the roots. Let them do some recovery, and then tomorrow I will plant them in the garden. And I will put no fertilizer in the holes with these. I want them to naturalize in. They've had a feeding right now, which is usually all I give perennials in a season, is a feeding initially if I pick up damaged or half-dead perennials like this, and that is it. I don't fertilize my perennials. There's no need to. I spend the money on the annuals and fertilize them, containers and pots. That is it. Not on these, not on any other perennial. So only to invigorate these and rejuvenate them is the reason I gave them some fish fertilizer. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. These are tips if you're a new gardener. If you see some plants on sale and they're perennials, make sure they're for your zone. So these are all for my zone. The yarrows, the oriental poppies, the salvias, they're all for my zone 3, even though I think we're moving to a 4. But I still stick with zone 3 plants because our weather is so unpredictable, and I don't know if I trust it. You know, you have these mild years and then you get a really nasty year and you lose plants because you buy zones above your zone. So I don't take those chances. But anyhow, that's the steps you do. Leave them, let them soak up the nutrients overnight, and plant them in the ground, and they will flourish. And I'll show you where they're at in a few weeks once they get in the ground and they get settled. When you put them in the ground, separate the roots a bit, scrunch up the root ball, loosen it up to help decompress them, because they're all compacted in those pots, the root balls, and you need to loosen them up to help them settle into the ground. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.